Good evening. Welcome to the Jamaica Funk Show. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Katie. Hi, people.
Hey, Christos.
Hello, everybody. We got a show tonight.
And today our guest host is Miss Esther Fontaine.
Good
What's up,
evening.
Esther?
Oh, lots of stuff. Lots to talk about
I
tonight. For real.
know, I know. We're going to talk about travel, humanity, politics, you name it. We're going to talk about Rosemary's Baby. What the hell? So, so guys, how was your weekend?
5 days ago.
Well, what the hell, you know.
My weekend was the best in the world, baby.
It wasn't baby.
I didn't want it to end, but it ended. What can I say?
Oh, damn.
That's what I said.
Hey, still on this side of the grass, so it's a good day every day.
Well, all right. All right. What about you, Joe? 5 days ago.
I was good then. I'm good now.
Well, all righty then. So we're going to talk a little bit about travel because Miss Esther is a leader in the travel industry here in Chicagoland.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I love traveling. Just going all over the world, have an opportunity to see the world, different cultures, different music, different food, celebrating life, meeting new people. So I get an opportunity to travel with the #1 travel club in the world and pay really, really inexpensive prices for high-end products.
Or go to Greece, baby.
And,
They're gonna keep you there.
Well, hey, look, if they're nice to me, they can keep me. I might
Yes,
want to
they
stay
will
there.
love
With
you in
what's going on
Santorini.
around here, I might want to stay there.
Santorini, here she comes, baby.
Call your friends, tell them I'm coming. I'm a nice
Yes,
lady.
yes, absolutely. Maybe we
Yeah,
can.
she's a nice lady. You heard that?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Okay, so you're going to Jamaica for 6 days.
Mhm.
You're going to Africa too, right?
I am going to Africa. Hopefully, Africa, either the end of February, March. I've partnered up with a couple of my business partners in the travel club that I'm in, and we're actually going over there to build a dialysis center and medical clinic in Accra, Ghana.
That's wonderful.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
imagine there's a great need for that here.
Yeah, you know, it's really cool because Ghana actually is shaped like the state of Illinois. It's almost the same size. There's 25 million people there, and 15% of the population suffer from kidney disease.
Oh, wow.
And there's nobody built there in existence there. Dialysis is very minimal, and people literally are dying every single day from this disease. Renal failure being caused by poor water, nutrition, just poor health in general. So we're going over, and the proceeds from the hospital we're going to use to build orphanages for the children of parents who died from the disease,
Okay.
as well as schools, and projected to do 4 hospitals over the next few years over there. So this has become a
like
live project.
That's a great humanitarian
Yeah.
thing
So-
getting ready to go on over there, huh?
Well, you know what? It's really funny. A year ago in February, just coming up, I woke up on a Saturday and I was just bored with life, and I said, God, I said, give me something bigger than me to give me some passion to get out of bed in the morning. Because I've been in transportation 30 years. I've been a school bus driver, a tour bus driver, limousines. If it moves, I've driven it. And I'm like, this can't be all there is to life. There's got to be something more. And in college, I studied sociology and criminal justice, and I just figured if we could learn to get along more with people and learn more about one another and celebrate those differences, we could bring some peace in the world. And so within hours, I got a phone call, and somebody said, hey, my friend wants to meet with you, and they said, help us build a hospital. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that prayer got answered. And I don't know anything about the medical industry, so it's all new information, and it's a great opportunity to make a difference in the world. So I'm pretty excited about it.
What about irrigation?
Well, you know what? Here's the deal. Ghana is looking for a lot of business people who want to come over and make a difference in the country, create, economic expansion, and also help the country, clean things up.
But now my understanding that there's a lot of corruption going on over there. So
Well, there's corruption everywhere. I
there's
mean,
a
we're
lot of
seeing it
corruption
live on
going on
TV
over
today.
here.
So.
yeah, well, I guess you got a point there, so maybe I should shut up on that one. Okay, scratch that.
Well, here's the thing. If you finally think
I
it's.
forgot what
Wait,
what day this was.
we have a new president. We're living inside structure. Here's the thing. As I've traveled around the world, I've met people from all over the world. What I find out is they all want exactly the same thing. They want financial security, they want love, and they want their family safe.
That's
Yes.
it. Exactly.
I don't care what the media projects on the world is dangerous here and dangerous there. Listen, there are dangerous neighborhoods everywhere, and not every country, the whole country's corrupt. There are pockets of bad people who are trying to oppress and dominate other people that cause a corruption to occur. But the truth is, when the good people will stand up, good will always win.
Those are the Sunday people we talk about in the show.
Well, we're not gonna get into
We had the
Sunday,
Sunday
Monday.
No, I know,
conversation
we're not, but
before.
these are the corruption people, the riffraffs. They're in this show. We call them Sunday.
Okay.
The corruption people and the riffraff.
Yes.
I thought it was the good people because she was just talking about the good people.
No, I know, but the ones that the percentage she said that they're bad pockets. Those are they live in the bad pockets. Are the Sunday people.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, that's a different conversation. We don't have
Right,
time for that one tonight.
Right. No,
So Esther,
Yes.
so is this a volunteer effort? Is this
Oh,
are you
no, we
going
making
with
some
some
money.
company?
No.
Oh, okay. So
No.
so it is. So it is monetized.
Yeah, the company is Healthcare Preventative Services. The woman who owns the company was a nurse at Northwestern for 30 years. She's from Ghana.
Okay.
She's actually the queen mother of the tribe back home. They want her to come back and take her political position there in the tribe. And so she wants to go build this hospital. They have a lot of family members who come to the States to get educated in the medical industry, but then they don't have anywhere to go back to work.
Oh,
So we
got
go
it.
and build this hospital to employ, the people from the country that can go home and they can help their people. So it's exciting, and like I said, the building we've acquired is, overlooking a highway, and it's a beautiful piece of property, and I'm real excited about it. I do construction and stuff, so I'm literally going to take my tools over with me. And I found a Ghanaian architect who is a pastor in Bolingbrook, but he's from Ghana. In the summertime, he goes over there, and he owns a construction company, so he works over there during the summertime when he's not school bus driving and preaching here.
Cool.
And I worked with him at a school bus company, and so I got reconnected with him, and he came on board to help us with the building. So I said, you just design it, draw it out, help me get with the team, put us all together, and I'll put my tool belt on, and we'll all go in there and build this thing and put some sweat equity into it.
Well, cool. Let's segue into 360 Women's March.
Wow. Yeah. I was highly impressed with all the feedback. What struck me the most about the Women's March is it became a human march.
Yes.
It so grew beyond the women's issues and internationally, the support that we got internationally. I was listening to the radio. We had marchers in Holland and Antarctica and some other countries, and people were standing up for human rights, which I thought was beautiful to come out of the Women's March, because women give birth to humanity.
Yes.
So what better human rights be birthed from a women's conversation in the world?
Absolutely.
Exactly. I was looking at the marches that went on in Paris and in England,
In Germany.
Brussels, in Germany, and
Yes.
Australia, and all chanting the very same thing.
Yeah.
They had them in Nova Scotia.
Is that exciting?
Yeah, and Alaska.
Those women in
Montana,
Antarctica,
where
they
you're
were
from.
freezing out there.
Yeah, but they were there. They were
Yeah.
there.
So, were you part of the march? I didn't get out that day. I was there.
No, I was
virtually.
working. I've got several jobs, so I was working on that day. My intention was to go, but then I got called to work, and it was just. I watched it on Facebook Live
Yeah, me
I was
too.
out there.
Me too. I watched
in
it
the
on
spirit
Facebook
of being
Live.
there when Ashley Judd, I saw her talk.
Yeah, oh,
with
but
that
now
girl.
that was a
Woo,
great conversation.
man.
She said, I'm a
Oh.
nasty girl raising a nasty daughter.
Oh
That
man,
poem
that
she
poem was
recited,
Yeah.
powerful.
I played it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm a nasty woman.
Yeah.
But
I'm definitely a nasty woman.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
what the thing though, again, it started with women, and then out of it came every group that's fighting for equality. The Women's March was the voice of humanity, and it went around the world.
Yeah.
And we have social media, so it's instantaneously around the world. It's live, so it's not edited, it's not washed down, it's not corrupted. It's just live in what it was.
Yeah, and I heard that in Washington, D.C., they had 2.2 million women. They said they had so many women there that there were women down this block and down that block.
Yeah, they weren't marching anymore. They were just standing.
They couldn't even see the march.
Okay, so.
But they were there.
So, all that is wonderful. I applaud it. But what came after that? I mean, who listened to that message and what the world does about the message?
Well, here's the thing.
As soon as the march was over, I don't want to call it a march, let's call it a little better name. There was not a march.
I think it was a conversation. It was
Yeah,
a world conversation.
Right, so these bombs are still falling around the world. The killing continues in Chicago. Who listens?
Okay, well, that's a great question.
I think that what
It just happened 5 days ago, and since then, I've been listening to a lot of different radio stations since then, and seeing some of the feeds that I've seen. A lot of new organizations have filed, some new nonprofits. There are more people who are talking about getting active in their local communities, of working to lobby Congress to redirect some monies into the areas that we need. Look, anytime a group of people has stood up for peace, stood up for rights, and they've stuck to it, there has been a shift. You know, the civil rights movement made a shift. The Susan B. Anthony made a shift. When the people come together and the passion that was involved, and here was the great thing, it was peaceful everywhere
And
it
one
was
of the
at.
things you got to understand, Christos, and I had to tell you this the other day, so I'm going to reiterate this. Rome wasn't built in a day. Nor was Christos first, nor was the roads out there in the street. It took years for those roads. They had to go out there and tear them up first, and then they had to rebuild them. And it took time for it to be rebuilt. So your question is a great question. However, it takes time to do all those things. But it's a beginning. It's the start.
Well, what was interesting, and we had this discussion before, is Trump becoming president when he first won the election back in November. It caused a lot of people to just be like, I'm going to leave this country. Oh my God, there was crying, there was this and this. But what people have to understand is where humanity is at right now in the world is we are prepared for a major shift in the intellectual and spiritual degree of this species. He had to become president because and I didn't vote for him, just let's clear that up. But here's the thing, if Hillary were the president, it would be status quo. Nothing would really be changing. Donald Trump is so drastic that he created the conversation just by winning. His contrast against some of the beliefs of the people in this country has caused the conversation to come out of the bars, out of the houses, out of the classrooms, out of the cars, out of the closets, and into the social environment. And because, again, live feed video, it's not like you can make these tapes by back in the 50s and go edit them to make this person look bad or that bad. When you're doing live social media, we're getting this stuff right as it's happening. So the conversation is now open about the part of the country believes this, racism still exists. It's now been brought to the forefront. I mean, we see in all them states. When that map lit up, I went, wow.
There are a lot of people who found out that they're racist that didn't even realize that they were
right.
racist.
So now the conversation.
This is a great conversation, but we got to take a break.
Yes, we do.
So we'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll be back in just a few minutes, guys. Well, Iron.
My Resume is a collection of poetry about author Johanna Bright's view of life. It talks about how she survived life in a large family, the ghetto, office politics, and her own stupidity. Available at tatepublishing.com.
It reminded me of a show. There was a guy who had a show. It was a live show when cable TV first came out. And this white guy, I don't even know where he's at. He had a 24-hour show, and he just stayed up the whole time. And then he'd go off the air to go to sleep, and then he'd come back on.
Right.
Remember that guy?
Vaguely,
and I'd be like, "What's he talking about?" He was by himself. He just talked about anything.
Everything.
And that's kind of this just keeps going on. You could start a dialogue of meaningful information that could change society, and you could just talk for hours, and it wouldn't even feel right.
Let's talk about white privilege.
Okay.
And how it can be a viable solution in bringing about some good change.
Well, it's very interesting. I'm from Montana, and I also grew up in Portland, Oregon, and then I came out here about 17 years ago. And when I came to the Chicago area and started meeting people from all different cultures, I started realizing there are some significant differences in society. Where as a kid, I didn't think too much about it, but what I began to realize as I started having more friends in the black community, and there would be jokes and this and that about white privilege, and here I'm ignorant, having white privilege, not even knowing it. Like, nobody goes, "Okay, honey, now when you grow up, you're going to be able, just because of the color of your skin, go and do things and have things other people can't." Like, we just do it. We're not programmed into it as a direct intention of conversation. It just happens. So, a friend of mine, Courtney Copeland, he got killed last year on the north side on March 4th. And he's a young man who's in our travel club. Very young, 19 years old. He had just left one place. He was on the other place late at night. And the media reports, young black man with BMW shot to death. So the media instantly makes it look like some gang thing.
Or drugs.
I remember that, and they plastered his face on the screen as if he was the perpetrator of his own death.
And then what happened was, within 24 hours, the story was gone. Why? Because what happened was, all of us in our travel club, we all showed up for him. Hundreds of people came out wearing shirts in his honor. His funeral had over 2,000 people at it. Courtney wasn't a black gang member kid. He was a young man that was going from one business meeting to another business meeting to help black people, Puerto Rican people make money to make social change in their communities, and he was driving a car that he had earned by our company, and our company paid the car note on his car. Now, in that conversation, talking to his mom and talking to some other people, I realized, she's like, "Yeah, I was afraid for him being out late at night and stuff." And I thought, wow, I have 2 sons, and I have never once worried, are my sons going to get home safe today? I have a daughter. I never worried, is she going to get home safe today? And as I begin to talk to my black friends in the black community, that is a viable concern. Will my son make it home today? Will he make it home from school? Will he make it home from work? And then all the shootings we saw where people get pulled over, and for me, I went, okay, what can I do? I'm not a wealthy person yet, working on that, but here's the thing, I started talking to a lot of people in the white community who really don't like discrimination, that, especially my travel club, because we're all around the world. We've just discovered that we love people for who they are. So what can I do? I have to create the conversation in the white community that racism is not a benefit to society, that discrimination undermines the human condition. It doesn't advance us. It's from lack of education. It's from judgment. It's from us not feeling that we're good enough, so we try and make ourselves look better than other people. So it's my responsibility as a white person with white privilege, anytime I get an opportunity to have a conversation, to stand for equality. Because here's the thing, we all come into the world the same way. We all die the same way, taking our first breath and taking our last breath. And it doesn't matter what color your skin is, or what your religion is, or where you were born, or what your economic status is. You all take a breath in when you're born, and you all leave a breath out when you die. And the fact that we're different is exactly why we should not have discrimination. It's the contrast that creates the beauty of humanity. We've got some flowers on the desk over here and a plant here. And even, look at your beautiful sign. If that sign were all black, how much beauty would be in it? There would be no distinguishable characters that make it a piece of art. So when we put one another together and we see the different colored skin and the different colored food and the different music. It's the contrast that gives us the opportunity to celebrate the creation of God. So I stand for equality. I stand for not judging, to celebrate somebody else's culture, to celebrate somebody else's belief system, allowing people to have their own human experience, and to celebrate it all, to participate in what I like and what I don't. Don't judge it and condemn it, just don't do it. And in that vein of thing, we can bring a new peace on it. If we stop judging one another and start celebrating one another, and stop trying to change everybody into this, go to another country and throw a white shirt and a tie and black pants on everybody, make them look like an American politician. No. Leave whatever their culture is intact and learn from them, because when you really get to the foundation of it, everybody wants the same thing. We just express it in a different way.
Well, not only that, but we're all human beings.
Yes.
We are humans before we're anything else.
Yes.
And you want to say something?
Yeah. This is the problem in this country. What about, how would you answer this? Let's say Europe. You have the Albanians on one side. They hate the Serbs, they hate the Greeks, they hate everybody in the area. They're all white. How do you answer that?
The same thing. The reason they're fighting is because they're judging one another's opinions of the way their belief system is about religion or politics. You eliminate judgment and you educate one another and you allow each people to have their expression in a peaceful manner, and then you can see the truth is they're fighting each other and they really want the same thing. They just want it their way.
I think it's fear.
Yeah.
I really think it's fear of not understanding your culture and you not understanding my culture and how I do things, and what folks don't really understand is that if you cut me, we're gonna bleed the same way. If you cut my jugular vein, I'm gonna die. If I cut your jugular vein, you're gonna die. When I go to the bathroom, I defecate the same way you do, and I, urinate. Thank you for the word. Urinate the same way you do. Whether you stand up over the toilet or sit down, we are humans and we all do the same thing. And when I go to the kitchen table to eat, I put food in my mouth the same way you do.
The only thing that causes conflict is our perception of how we view the world.
Yes.
It's how we judge one another.
10 years ago, or 15 years ago, Albania opened all their jails. They let every criminal go to Greece. And then some normal people came to Greece. They worked hard. They did what they do. They advanced. They brought all the Euro-Greek money back to Albania. They started building Albania, their country. And all of a sudden, they dreaming about the great Albania, and they want to take half of northern Greece to have their own country. How do you explain that? You're talking about racism.
Well, that's the same thing the white man did to the Indians.
And they're still doing
same
it.
exact thing. And
still doing
and
it.
still getting away with it.
And here's the thing. I look at black people here in America. We did not ask to come here. We didn't
But you built the whole country.
Wait a minute. But we didn't ask to come here. We were forced to get on a ship and come here. Everybody else came because they seen prosperity and a land of opportunity. Absolutely. But black people came here because we were forced here to build this country, to mother their babies, to work their lands and work their factories and do all the things that they needed us to do. And to this day, we're still being enslaved. And I remember years ago, somebody said, you NGRs need to go back to Africa. Huh?
I wasn't born there.
We didn't even ask to come here.
Well, the fact of the matter is that's an insult, because every race every race. Every human being on this planet is mixed with somebody else's blood.
Absolutely.
I don't need to go all the way back to the slave days to make that point.
Right.
But today, as we live and breathe, we are all mixed with something. Whether it's Albanian, Greek, African, Australian, German, American, Canadian, Mexican, Swedish, Muslim, you name it. But we're all still one people, which is a human being. And fear drives people.
Yeah.
And when they say, oh, he's saying things that I was afraid to say, he heard those things. And I go back to our original conversation. Our new president heard those things, and he built and he drove his campaign based on the fact that people said certain things, and he took those private conversations and brought them to the forefront. Now, mind you, we live in a country of freedom of speech, but we've become this country where if you say a certain thing a certain way, you can get away with things. People don't want to be insulted. You can't call a child who was born with the inability to learn past the 5th grade level retarded anymore. But that's what we called them back when he was younger. Back when we were younger, kids was called retarded. And that's not an insult. You have retarded growth. That means you are not capable of moving past a certain point in your life. It's a scientific and actual fact. But today, if you call the child retarded, you would be insulting that parent. So it's all about
language
words.
has changed and
Right,
shifted
it's all
but here's
as
the
a
thing.
society.
It's all about
Depends on what
words.
it
Hold on.
is.
It's all about words. And when you think about how the words are being used to drive everything right now, people are just reacting and reacting and reacting on the words that are being used.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is this. If that's the words that was used to cause that chaos, we can still use words to get rid of the chaos.
Reality exists in the power of language.
Yeah.
The Albanians, when it was a communist country before, when they came to Greece, their stomach seen a food for the first time. They saw prosperity. They built their country with Greek money. You understand? They seen prosperity. They didn't even have roads. They were under the communism, Omer Hoxha, whatever his name was, and all of a sudden, they woke up, or whatever it is they do, they want to have animosity. They want a part of Serbia, they want part of Greece. I mean, this animosity with people is constant. But that's besides the point. I want to ask you this. You mentioned that with the land of the free.
No, I didn't.
My question is this.
Because no, we ain't. That's the illusion.
I said we were a land of opportunity.
Land of opportunity.
And I was just helping out a statement she was making.
The land of the free.
Believe that.
The word
Well,
free.
we know it's not the land of opportunity for us as black people, because the opportunity was bringing us here and using us. We were the opportunity that built America.
When I say the land of the free, I don't mean just here.
Yeah, but she didn't say that.
Well, free means
I didn't say it.
you want to build a house, right? You need a government license, right? You want to cross the street, the government lets you in. They put lights, right? You want to have insurance or not, the government tells you to have.
So what's your
You
question?
show me something around the world that you can do by yourself without the government knowing or letting you go so far.
Well, you can't.
So we're under the illusion that we're free. Nobody's free. What is free?
Well, we didn't say that we were free, because
You
we're
said
not free.
opportunity.
No,
We're not free. She didn't say anything about the land of free.
See, and
She
then
said land
now
of
we're back to
opportunity.
violence again.
She said land of
correct.
opportunity, because she was helping me out with some words that I was looking for my statement. So she came up with land of opportunity. So you misheard her. That's all. We didn't say nothing about the land of the free, because regardless to what your color is here in America, you're not free. I don't care what you think, you're not free. And the reason why people that voted for Donald Trump love Donald Trump so much, because as Esther said, Donald Trump got away with saying things that other people couldn't. On top of that, Donald Trump is a big bully because he has bullied so many reporters and tried to deny these reporters their First Amendment rights, which is freedom of speech.
We can do more of that conversation when we go on our next break.
All right. So, we'll be back in just a moment. Well, I respond.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
So we're back.
Okay, so on the march then.
Yes.
The march generated a conversation for women to be heard in the new administration and the new way that America is moving. Because throughout the election, throughout all of this process, we saw that Trump was disrespectful to women. Women weren't hearing their voice. So what are women now speaking for and standing up for? Here we are in the 21st century, and women are doing all kinds of jobs, and we still don't get equal pay.
However, here's the thing. 53% of white women, and I'm talking about the white women, not all the white women, but the white women that voted. 53% of the white women that voted for Trump. How do you explain that?
Not to put any pressure on the white woman on the
right. But
the white woman in the house who didn't vote for Trump because I have an intellect. I think because one thing that Trump was really good at was having the conversation out in the open that everybody else was afraid to have. The conversation that was happening behind the closed doors that white people had, he brought out to the forefront. And so it's kind of like,
what is this, a racist conversation?
No, here's the thing. No, I'm going to tell you something, and it's actually a book I'm working on. I call it Cinderella Syndrome. And this is why. Women have been programmed to not trust the decisions that they make. Look at Disney. All the years, Eat the Apple, Almost Die, Prince comes and saves you. Rapunzel, put your hair down. Snow White, this. Everything, and not just to knock Disney, but it's through different writings as well. Women make decisions, they get themselves in trouble, and they have to wait for the man to come and rescue them from their decision. Now, we know as powerful women, that's not the truth. But when you're programmed that way very subtly through books and through movies and through conversations, so now we've got this mental society of women who really want to change, and this big bully type guy shows up and says, I'm going to make it all better. They feel like these damsels who are being rescued.
But you know what bothers me?
I'm sorry.
Bothers me that this bully man comes in, but this bully was not a dandelion to grow in two rocks. He came up in this world, in this society, from his own mother and sister. He has family. How come he turns out to be a bully? A mother given birth, just like everybody else.
Because he's a part of the white privileged male dominator society. He's
been catered to.
He's been catered to. He has money. He's a part of the process.
Around him, telling him everything that he does is okay.
He doesn't have money. When he's born, he's helpless. He can live in there. He can die. The society that brought him up, his mother, his sister, his relatives,
his father,
right?
Whom he listened to.
This idea that we're competing against men or men competing against, we're all human beings on this earth. Why this separation?
Wait a minute. Here's the thing. When the person, and I'm assuming you're talking about Donald Trump.
No, I'm talking in general. I don't have against nobody in this world.
Well, I want to address what you're saying. Because you're talking about somebody bullying, and I don't get that that's what she was talking about. What I get that she was saying is that the way the media portrays women, they portrays us as these helpless beings who need men to rescue us. Right. Which is a crock of crap.
Yeah, right. But in media there is women and men.
But you gotta listen.
Just society in general.
So we're saying is we're standing up. letting you know that if it wasn't for us women, there wouldn't be a United States of America, for that matter.
I know, so why it turns out to be that way then?
Well, here's the thing. The conversation started with the 360 march that happened last Saturday. That a lot of men, different cultures, different nations of people were involved in this march. And it shows the solidarity of the people in this world, how they no longer want to stand up for the things that you personally are against and we all are against. It was a show of unity and solidarity, but it was a women's march that was the biggest march, protest, whatever you want to call it, that has ever happened in the history of protesting, because it was worldwide, and it wasn't spread by television, it was spread by social media, and everybody that joined in it, they didn't go, we're gonna protest against it. No, they came together because their message was, we will not go quietly into the night and allow a sycophant of a dictatorish president ruin everything that we have spent the last almost 10 years trying to bring together, which he started to do on the first day of his presidency.
Right. Actually, it was started before the first day of his presidency, because the Republicans came together and started unmantling Obamacare before he even was inaugurated.
Well, they were trying to take a vote on it to repeal it. But the fact is, President Trump,
wash your mouth out.
You're generous.
Because that's who he is, right?
And like I said, you're generous.
And the fact is, the 360 march for women, yes, it was for women, but there were lesbians, you know, all gays and homosexuals and transsexuals and you name the person. There were short, small, fat, tall, round. They spoke
green,
English,
yellow, orange.
They spoke different languages, but they all came together because even if they didn't speak English well enough to understand, for me to understand here in this country, the fact that we all came together in the one mindset was that we will not go quietly into the night simply because some man who considers the presidency, which is a place where he's supposed to serve the people, he is not allowed to sit on a throne and start dictating orders out to people saying, you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and if you don't, you're going to get arrested. And while he may be doing that right now, time will tell, because the people are not going to sit back like they did in the 1919 to 1972 or whatever day that the civil rights movement finally got, you know, a victory in this fight. We sat back and we waited because the 80s came and, you know, civil rights did what it was supposed to do, and people were happy and black people were getting, you know, bank loans and great jobs, and we were accepted to colleges we couldn't go to no more, and all of a sudden segregation wasn't anymore, and we fell for it.
Well, the problem is that segregation has always been, it's never gone anywhere. And not only that, but slavery is still here. Slavery is actually, it's actually sanctioned in the 13th Amendment. They say all men shall be free with the exception of those who are punished based on a crime. And so what that says that from the time the 13th Amendment was put into law, they started rounding up black men for any offense, vagrancy. It didn't matter. They just round them up and started putting them in these prisons or in these what did they used to call them, chain gangs.
Right.
And to this today, it is so bad that even Bill Clinton came out and said. He apologized because the 3 strikes out law that he created during his presidency was wrong. That he did the American people a disservice. Now,
I think that's a wonderful thing.
I'm just so happy he accepted his responsibility, but I don't see him or Hillary contributing any of the millions of dollars that they have earned because of that law, because they were vested in the prison system.
Well, time will tell what will happen. As you said before, Rome was not built in a day.
I have a question on that, because I just, I watched the movie a while ago, The 13th Amendment, on Netflix, and I just was reviewing it on my way here. And all throughout the radio today, and TV, I mean, Trump today said, "Oh, Chicago, what the hell is going on?" And it made me go, time out, just a minute. When you have just imprisoned generations of fathers, you've pushed them into the prison system and left mothers alone to raise the kids with a poor education system, with poor programs. What the hell? These are the results of that movement.
So here's the thing. What Trump is doing is a smokescreen. What Trump is trying to create another way of sweeping black men up and really imprisoning them, or being able to kill them, shoot them, hang them, the way it used to be. That's his covert word, looking at Chicago. Here's the deal. Chicago is not the only place where there's killings and crime. It's all across America.
Right.
But he's looking at Chicago because a lot of that crime is concentrated, according to the media, in the black community. But what Trump isn't talking about is all the crime that is being created by the new generation of white young people who are strung out on heroin, who are strung out on crack, who are strung out on all types of opiates, who are strung out on flakka,
heroin,
who are strung out on
heroin,
just
everything,
all kinds of drugs.
What they can get their hands
But
on.
here's the deal: you got more white young individuals strung out on these drugs now, and what the media is doing now, they're downplaying it. It used to be a war on drugs, okay? And what that meant is rounding up all these black guys and throwing them in jail because it was a war on drugs. And what they did was, they monetized it.
Yes, they did.
They monetized it. So J.C. Penney's prisoners were making their goods that they were selling.
Because that's the new slavery.
Yeah, thank you. Or that's the new sweat houses and sweat labor.
Instead of independent people owning a slave farm where they own all these slaves, now it's governmentalized, it's monetized, so that they can go and make our goods and services.
So you got all these major corporations who prisoners, people in jail, are making their goods. In case you didn't know that, some of the stuff that you're buying were made by people in prison. Now, Walmart used to be there was this group of people, this club or whatever you want to call it, called ALEC.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
ALEC.
Yes, called ALEC. Now, ALEC has shifted its axis, but ALEC started out by creating all these laws. There were major corporations that belonged to it, and lobbyists, and all of your political officials, your House of Representatives, some of your House of Senators,
but just look it up, because a lot of corporations, not a lot, but quite a few major corporations have gotten out of ALEC because of their policies.
Yeah, well, they've gotten out of it because it has come to light that they were in it. Okay, and they've made a lot of money because of ALEC. And now, because it's come to light, and a lot of public is getting to know these things. You know how corporations do when they got someone who that's got an endorsement, like a football player who's got an endorsement, and the football player happens to say the wrong thing or commit a crime, they distance themselves from it as if they are the innocent party, and they don't want to have nothing to do with it because they want to keep their facade shining. However, you still ain't shining. You still not shining. And all these bullets and weapons that are out there, Walmart is the #1 seller of guns and ammunition. in this country.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, yeah, Walmart is. And it started in ALEC. So that's how a lot of the weaponry got out on the street. Okay? So I say all of that to say that when we talk about what these politicians are doing, what Donald Trump and his gang is doing, because it is his gang, his bunch of terrorists, because they're Ku Klux Klan members, and that's a terrorist organization. I just have to say it. We all know this. They just haven't called them that. But they're no different from ISO, the neo-Nazis, or any other terrorist organization that terrorize people and kill people. So they always come out with these smoke screens. They show you one picture and they use words that make you think one thing, but it's actually doing something different. And so that's why I'm happy for the 360 Women's Movement, because we are not standing for that crap anymore.
No.
We're not being duped anymore. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Well, I remind.
Some fool that try to trick her with his money.
And we're gonna cut to Joe, so Joe can do perfect piece of poetry that she chose for us this evening. Take it away, Joe.
Oh, thank you, KT.
You're welcome.
Tonight it took me a minute to find something because I'm like, so this one is called Normal. You think everything is fine because that's what you want it to be, right? You want everything to be fine. Sure, you have your dreams of a wonderful and marvelous life. You live every day chasing adventure, longing for excitement, some amazing, thrilling event. So it becomes that every day, even though it's fine. But you're not quite there yet. It's fine though. You still got your job, your friends, your family, your social life. Socially, you are the life of the party. Love to see you. Glad you came. Financially, just like everyone else, you struggle to make ends meet, but you always have money for fun. Mentally, you wish things were different. You want a vacation far away from here, wherever that is. One that doesn't end. You want a new car, a new phone, a new house, furniture, better school for the kids. You wish you didn't need to be the one to make all the damn decisions. You wish you could start over and go back and correct some mistakes. But what the hell? They don't make that big a difference now. I mean, you're glad you don't have to get married. The job's not that bad and the pay is good. No complaints, really. It's just that, well, you still got to wake up every morning, do the same things in the same order, and it becomes mundane, normal. There are no regrets to what you have, just wishes for more. And if they don't come true, you're fine with it because they were just what you wanted. They were just those wishes. And who really believes in anything as childish as wishes, right? It's hard work and details. It's making plans and writing it all down and keeping promises and being responsible. It's celebrating the accomplishments of life and holding close in your arms those who hurt and are in pain and need you. So, you put those dreams of adventure and excitement and wonder to the side and you show up when you needed to. and you smile, and you give hugs and advice, and loans you know will not get repaid the same way that they were given. And you do it because that's who you are. You don't get angry anymore over nonsense or anything because you realize sometimes, whether you're there or not, whether you decide to show up or not, people will be who they are. So don't worry. Everything's fine right now. It's normal.
That's beautiful.
And so, we have Christos' thoughts.
Well, I'm going to take about 20 seconds for the coffee people.
Okay.
So, in this show, we have October people, right?
Yeah.
The October people. We have the Sunday people. Now we have the coffee people. And these are the coffee people. For men or women, it doesn't matter. When you meet somebody new and come to visit your house, you ask them, are you here to stay so I can make our dreams, or are you just here for coffee?
Okay.
So you just ask if they're just staying for coffee or they're there to make lifelong dreams together.
Okay.
Coffee people.
I like that.
These are the coffee people. So eventually we have more people. So now we have three.
We have 3 people.
October, Sundays, and coffee people.
All right.
Oh, he's building something.
Well,
Yeah, he's building a brand.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I'm going to tell you, now you can ask your men friends. Or men, you can ask your lady friends.
Yeah.
Are
Or
you
ladies,
here?
you can ask your ladies friends, or men,
Or men, you can ask your men friends.
Okay.
Right. Whether or not if they're here to build dreams with you, or if they're just here for a cup of coffee.
Oh, you got deep
I like
on
that.
this.
That's
good.
Really,
Yeah.
you know, but you never know
No,
where
next
Christos is
week.
coming from. So now, tell us
Wait a
a
minute,
joke.
where's the joke? Where's the joke?
Oh, the joke. The 6-year-old boy runs around back in Greece in the village and comes back home and says, Mom, he says, where I come from? The mom was making bread. Says, what do you mean you come from? The stork brought you. The little boy goes like this. He goes back with his friends, he's playing. He comes back 20 minutes later, sweat. He says, Mom, what about Dad? Where did he come from? He says, leave me alone. The dough is rising. Your dad, the stork brought him too. The little boy puts his head down, shakes his head, he's worried. He goes out, he plays. He comes back 15 minutes again. He says, Mom, what about Grandpa? Where does he come from? Mother looks at him and says, the stork brought him too. And the little boy turns around, he puts his head down, and he goes, Mom, damn, did anybody screw in our family?
We should
He's
saw
getting
that
disappointed. He ain't gonna get something in his future.
Oh God, that was good.
Been very interesting
That
meeting
was
you
really
today.
good.
Yeah.
That was really good, Christos. I have to tell you, you did a great job.
That was
Mom, does anybody screw in our family?
Apparently the stork.
Yeah, the stork getting it from all of them.
Did anybody ever
Ew.
screw in our family?
Well,
So that
thank
was the
you.
joke, yes.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I hope you live sources like that.
No, it was great. So Esther,
Yes, ma'am.
tell people out there where they can get a hold of your travel club. You can give them the name if you
Okay.
choose.
All right. Yeah, just for general conversation, they can just reach me at my email at estherfontaine@hotmail.com. And if you're interested in finding out how to travel to 4- and 5-star destinations at wholesale instead of retail, you can reach me at estherfontaine.dreamtrips.com.
You might want to say that again because that was kind of fast.
Yeah, estherfontaine@dreamtrips.com. DREAMSTRIPS.com. a lot of people don't travel for two reasons. They don't have the time or they don't have the money. And I'm a representative with the company. I'm a vacation promoter, so I've built a team here in the Chicago area, which we give great opportunity because the computer doesn't ask what your race is.
Yeah.
It doesn't ask you any of those questions. It asks for your address, your name, how you want to buy into the program, do you want to make some money, and does your credit card go through? We work with you. So, you know, if you can empower people with money and education and personal growth and development, you can truly change your mind.
Yes, you
Change your lives. So that's what I do. I'm a lead. I teach leadership stuff. I teach personal growth and development, and I teach people. I'm not a coffee person. I'm a dream builder.
Okay.
And this is what I've learned. We grow up being told we can do anything we want, and then somewhere along the way, that shifts. And people have great big dreams. We sit in 6th grade class or 7th grade class in our most boring class, and we stare out the windows, and we dream about what we want to do when we're all grown up. And then one day we grow up and we have a wallet, and what fits in our wallet then determines our dreams, because we're not taught how to use our dreams as the passion to drive us to increase the wallet. We eliminate our dreams to fit what we've made in our wallet. And I teach people how to expand their dreams, find their passion, make money doing what they love, and then they can do anything they choose to do and travel the world and meet awesome people.
Well, thank you, Esther.
It's been a pleasure
being on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, you all can go to JamaicaFunkShow.com if you want to see this show. Please like and subscribe. Well,
Iron Man.